Hari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Randana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. प्रभुपाद की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, आप सभी भक्तों की जय. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for giving me opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Prabhu,
I'm
Hare,
not.
Prabhu, just give me one moment if you don't mind. So I was just waiting for more devotees to join. So
Okay.
I think all of you have already heard lectures from His Grace Govindananda Prabhu. He has he has joined our class multiple times and given lectures as well. So he is one of the most wonderful disciples of Damodar Desh. A very pure devotee. He is
Oh,
instrumental in many services. And the best part about him is, he doesn't need to be called for some service. He volunteers automatically, he comes in forward and, helps in various services in Damodar Desh. I mean, a very soft spoken person, a very helping nature person, and has a deep knowledge of Shastra. Very good speaker as well. I'm sure you all will enjoy his lecture today. एंड आज हम लोग ऐसा प्रभु जी को ऐसा रिस्पांस देंगे दैट प्रभु जी शुड फील लाइक कमिंग हियर अगेन एंड अगेन. We were speaking before you all joined. Prabhuji is actually working today. So despite having a working day, he has taken out a little time for us and is giving a lecture. Many thanks to you, Prabhuji.
thank you.
Very fortunate to have you as a speaker today.
Hare Krishna. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Whatever Prabhu has said, many things are not, I am not qualified, but it is his vision that he sees me in that way. But there are so much conditioning I have. But as a service, I will try to serve whatever I have learned from Damodar Desh, Guru and Gauranga. I'll try to share the wisdom, whatever I know. And whatever you like it, it is all because of blessings of this good devotee Subal Prabhu and all this, because many things we have learned from them also. They are the pillar of Damodar Desh. And whatever is mistake is done by me because maybe I'm not able to grasp properly the knowledge of this wisdom. So first of all, I'll just pay my humble obeisances unto your all lotus feet to beg your blessings so that I can speak on this vast topic. Hare Krishna. So before we start, we'll take the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki. Hare Krishna. So I have been told to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 10th chapter, text number 21 until how much we can cover in our time frame. The topic of this chapter is Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So we will take slok verse number 21. यदात्मनि निरालोकम् आत्मनां च दिद्रक्षतः निर्भिने हि अक्षिणे तस्य ज्योतिष चक्षुर्गुणाग्रह. भाव word to word meaning by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yada, while, Atmani, unto himself, Niralokam, without any light, Atmanam, his own transcendental body, Cha, also other bodily form, Didrakshataha, desire to look upon, Nirbhine, due to being sprouted, he, for, Akshini, of the eyes, Tasya, of him, Jyoti, the sun, Chakshu, the eyes, Gunagraha, the power of seeing. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sorry to disturb you. You can allow devotees to read the translation and purport. They would be happy to do that. And it is okay. In the interest of time, it is okay if you skip the word by word meaning.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, if anybody wants to read, most welcome. Translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thus,
Krishna,
when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's Son, the power of vision, and the object of sight all became manifested. The universe is by nature dense darkness, and therefore the total creation is called tamas or darkness. The night is the real feature of the universe, and then one cannot see anything, including oneself. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well, and thus the Son became manifested. The power of vision for all the living entities became possible, and the objects of vision were also manifested. This means that the whole phenomenal world became visible after the creation of the Son. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So, first we'll discuss on this shloka. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatva Mahamande Shri Guru Dintarinam Paramanam Madhavam Keshavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So this is very beautifully explained in Bhagavatam, like how Bhagavatam is all answer to all questions. So first we have to understand the small basics of this. There are two worlds. May I know which two worlds we are talking about? Anybody can say which two worlds there are there? Anybody can answer? Which two worlds are there? There are totally two worlds.
Spiritual and material?
That's right. So now we are in material world, which is manifested, and again it is unmanifested. This is it has a lifespan of manifestation and unmanifestation. So this we have to understand. There are in this manifestation in creation there are 14 planets. Only there are Ananta Brahmanda. There are many Brahmandas are there. Like many planets are there, many Brahmands are there. But we have to understand they all come in the sphere of material world because they are temporary. They are not false. They are temporary. There is a difference between them. Many different philosophers say that is it is this material world is mithya. Mithya, according to them, is false, but it is not false. It actual means is temporary. Temporary means like when we see sun, when sun comes up, when sun is rising, that doesn't mean the sun is set in. Suppose when sun is rising in UAE, some other place it is setting, right? So that doesn't mean sun is not there, but we can understand in a way sun is there even, but it is in the different location. Similarly, this material manifestation, they come up and they go, but this going of material manifestation is not like sun. But we have to understand how this cosmic manifestation happened so that we can understand our constitutional position. Because the first question comes in spiritual life, Athauta Brahma Jigyasa. Who am I? That is the first and the root question should be understood, because everything else is connected to this question only. Because until unless we don't know who we are, we will not progress. That's why Bhagavad Gita is our the previous book. The we can say preliminary book. It is that one, so that we can understand the Paramatma, Atma, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. From that, when we go little beyond, we understand this cosmic manifestation. So this cosmic manifestation is temporary. It's not false. Like it is called as relative truth. What is relative truth? Like suppose if there is a building, it will last long for 90 years or 100 years maximum or 75. I'm just hypothetically telling you, but it doesn't long that last. So after that span of time, that building goes, they need to demolish it, and then again it has to be recreated. Similarly, this manifestations comes and go. That also is done because of our uh, desired, because we desired that as a jiva, then only it has happened. So we have to understand this point. This cosmic manifestation is like Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says it's a dukhalaya ashashvatam. Why it is dukhalaya ashashvatam? Why it is dukhalaya ashashvatam? Because if there is no dukha, if there is no, sadness, or not happy here, then only you will seek for happiness. Because the jiva, the soul, is Satchit Anand, is always hankering for, it is already happy, it is blissful always. Jiva is always blissful. Due to his forgetfulness, he comes to the part, to this material creation. Firstly, he desired, he want to enjoy against Krishna. Krishna said, please don't go. You will suffer there. It's not good to enjoy separately from me. But we were so stubborn to come to this material world. And just for clarification, whenever I say we, it is just representing me. So, uh, 1 second, I'll just take call 1 second. आशीष मैं 1 घंटे में कॉल करता हूँ. हाँ दे दो. So sorry for this today. So whenever I say we is, I am telling to myself, not to you all. So just for that clarification, I wanted to say. So I was saying, so this material cosmic manifestation is desired. We desired from Krishna. Oh Krishna, we want to go and we want to enjoy separately. He said it is suffering. You will really suffer. But like a stubborn child, when he wants to see once first time he sees the fire, and he likes to touch the fire. As he touched, then only he realized, oh, mistake. Parents tell, don't, it's fire, be careful, be careful. Till the time child experience it, he doesn't believe their parents. Similarly, we were not believing Krishna. So we desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. If you see subtly it means we want to become a lord. And Krishna said, if you want to become a lord, you cannot become a lord in my planning. If you really want to enjoy separately from me, then okay, it is your really desire, then I'll create one manifestation for you. So that's why this manifestation, second world, initially we started with two worlds, material world and spiritual world. So this material world was created. In this material world is always manifesting and going. They have the time span, and there is a jiva. They are in a position where they are trying to seek happiness, which will never get it. So when we associate the devotees of the Lord, we understand the reality, the truth, what is the real nature of this Jivatma, and where does it come from, and what is the purpose it came to this material world, and how that Jiva can go back again to the real, its constitutional position, which is Satchidanand. So because of that, this manifestation was made. And that's why this point comes in. God, he comes in a Purusha avatar, which you already discussed in previous understanding. So in that Mahapurusha avatar, what he does is he created thus when everything existed in the darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's sun, the power of vision, and the object of sight all became manifested. So he created sun, and that sun is visible in one place, then there is a light, and when the sun is not visible in another place, it's a darkness. So you can understand in the spiritual world, there is no darkness. But yes, there is a aspect of darkness. If Krishna wants night to come in the spiritual world, he will create the aspect of darkness. But it is not, there is no darkness. But to create a, the pastime, he can create darkness there. But in this material world is always darkness. Without sun, we cannot be able to see anything. So that's why it is said, when everything was in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself, and was all that was created. So this is how we can understand the sun was created and many things were created. The In the purport here, it is saying the universe is by nature dense darkness, which we understood why it is dark, because this was material world. In material world, there is no, it is a temporary manifestation. So in temporary, like we set up some temporary manifestation, like some pandal program we do somewhere in a open a ground. So what, it is always dark. So we need lights there and everything we need. So we also try to manifest. So you can understand, because we wanted to lord it over nature, we are trying to do this here also. So now darkness comes, we are planning to do solar lights and many things in the light is required in the night also. Previously there was no lights, so they used to use the lamps. So slowly we are following in the footstep of God only, because this knowledge nobody taught us. Everybody did his scientific research, and slowly they understood the light is there, everything is coming from where? From that Paramatma, that intelligence is coming. So based on that intelligence, we are also creating our big powerful lights, but we cannot make that much powerful like sun. Nobody can make that, because God, whatever God makes, it is supremely, uh, it is not competitive. Nobody can do competition with God in his creation, and nobody can make anything like God. We are trying something like God, but we can never be doing what God does. So this is how he created sun. And again, the night is the real feature of the universe, which we discuss now. This universe is made in that way. It is real features. For then one cannot see anything, including oneself. Like if in the room in the night, if you close it, nobody will be able to see what is next to me. Suppose sometimes lights goes, we are literally so dependent on Krishna that we don't realize that we are so much dependent on Krishna. Suppose light is not there, we will nothing to see. It's pitch dark. So if moon comes, then only we are able to see some light. So like this, it is saying that we are. So we have to understand with these points that we are so much dependent to God, and we think ourselves God. Such a sheer, foolishness we can say that, oh, I can do so much, I can do so much. But we have to understand it's not easy to do everything. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, here we can understand, because here God, he is our real parent. That's why his causeless mercy first desired to see himself and all the creation as well. And thus the sun became manifested. The power of vision for all living entities become possible, and object of vision were also manifested. This means that the whole phenomenal world became visible after the creation of the sun. So somebody can say, oh Lord, why he cannot see himself? He is just telling us this manifestation is dark to make you understand. God can see, that's why he can manifest. But uh, to show the people an example, he take a role that, uh, like sometimes, Mother Srila Prabhupada gives this example. Uh, Mother is cooking chapati, and child wants to cook also. And the mother, what she does is she gives some dough, the atta dough, to the child and tell them, okay, you also try to play, you also too. So when the child is try to learn, they are playing also in the playing mood. But mother also act in a way, okay, maybe I don't know, you do it. Sometimes she says, okay, you do it. Whenever we see, okay, you do it, I cannot do today, you do it. Similarly, they take a role to make us understand, okay, they are in that way, because there are some people who don't believe God, and God has to reciprocate to them also. So due to that reciprocation, God takes this position where we can see, if this point is very important. He said, The power of vision of all living entities became possible. One second. The Lord, out of his boundless mercy, first desired to see himself. Lord himself knows what he is. He doesn't want to desire himself to see first. He doesn't require sun to see himself because everything from him is self-visible. But to make us understand this material world is because see, if he will not say this point, that means we will not understand the darkness of this material world. Because to if there is a light of God in this material world, we will not be understanding there is a darkness in this material world. That's why this point is coming in. So we'll go to the next shloka. This I hope this one we covered up fully. We can go to the next shloka now, shloka number 22. बोधयं मनसा ऋषिभिर् आत्मना सा तज्जिगरक्षतः कारणं च निर्भिदित्यं दिशास्रोता राम गुणाग्रह. Translation I'll read, then purport somebody can read. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. By development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about that self. Anybody can read purport?
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Control knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of nature of physical knowledge, which are working by the direction of the Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibration of mundane affairs. The great sages were interested in hearing about the Lord through Vedic knowledge and nothing more. That is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
No, very nice. This is very beautiful verse. Here we can understand. So there was before like Bhagavatam and everything in previous ages, what was happening is there was no, this documented things were happening. Before it was Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means people used to hear and Smriti they used to remember. So that way the Vedic scriptures and Vedic things has came to the manifestation. So that's why here it is mentioned now there is a darkness, pitch darkness. So Jivatma will come. Like we have to understand, Lord is personality, God is person, and that's why He created this material manifestation in a personality form. So He knows what are the basic things required in this material world, and how Jivatma is going to work on it. It is not Nirakar. It is not impersonal. That's the reason you can see we can understand many other scriptures and many other philosophers they say that God is impersonal. He doesn't have. You have to understand this Bhagavatam. This topic of this chapter is also very good. Bhagavatam is having all answers, answers to all questions. So here we can understand. Somebody says God is impersonal, so we can understand if He's impersonal. Like many of scriptures, like in Bible, it is said human is made in the man is made in the form of God, because God is existing in some form. Sorry, somebody wants to say something. So God is person, that's why He created person. So, first thing, if you see when a child is born, he is unable to see anything. The child gets his eyesight where development is within 3 days of the span of time because first day it's completely darkness for him because it comes from the dark womb and whatever he sees it is only dark. So first manifestation of child is not the eyes, it is ear. Everything they hear. That is the reason ear is very important in our lives. because from that we can see God. Bhagavatam, what we are hearing now, it is all about hearing. Like sometimes people go on the looks and they say, oh, I look this person, I want to see that person, and then only I like to hear from him. So it is not about this. If you really want to understand Krishna, the simplest and the best process is hearing, not seeing. Like one time I remember Srila Prabhupada was listening to his Guru Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and everybody wanted to go and enjoy the everybody wanted to go and enjoy the sightseeing of the pilgrimage, that yatra. But Srila Prabhupada was only hearing and hearing and hearing. So some disciples went to see at the site place and then they came back and their Guru Maharaj told, so how was your eyes massage? And they were surprised why Guru Maharaj is saying like that. They said, if you really want to understand the philosophy and God, the first and the most important thing is hearing. Like we are hearing always, whatever I am talking also, I have heard some from this Guru, Gauranga and all this, the Acharyas, that's what I'm sharing with you. Only by seeing and reading, we will understand something, but the main process, the change of heart is from the hearing. Sometimes reading is also hearing. It is like when we read this Srila Prabhupada's purport, now Prabhupada is not present in front of eyes, but what we are reading is as good as hearing, because Shruti and Smriti was the, in the previous ages it was used. So now it is documented. In this documentation, when we are reading, it is as good as hearing, because it is the words of Srila Prabhupada. That's why our Bhagavad Gita is also hearing. We can understand that Bhagavad Gita is also hearing. It is Bhagavad Gita, it is Geet, which is spoken by the Lord. Then it is documented so that we can understand. So here we can understand by development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears. So here the point comes, sages wanted to know, because sages are the person who can deliver the Jivatma from this cosmic manifestation of material world. The power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. So here, the power of hearing, first we have to hear. So God has created some, this yantra of our ears. Beautiful, na? How we can hear everything. Each sound we can hear. Each, ether we can hear about. Ether is like sound, air, fire, ether, and water, and space. All these are space and sound, I think it is. Agni, Vayu, Kham, Akash, and space and sky. Yeah. So ether is the thing I was talking about. So beautifully, if you see how it works, I will tell you very. I have heard from one of the acharyas. I don't remember who said that, but it was very beautiful point. It touched my heart. When previous time there was no TV and everything, so there was radio. Initially, there was radio. If you remember, TV was not there that time. Only radio waves used to. So see how Jiva is creating this manifestation. They created a radio. In radio, there is a frequency. If you put a frequency, then a person, what they are speaking somewhere, that frequency will connect to that frequency, and that frequency, if you select in that radio, then you will be able to hear this, all the message, whatever is being spoken there. Similarly, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a spiritual, this message vibration. This when we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this frequency, what we are chanting now, is connected to the spiritual frequency, and it is going towards the spiritual world. So it is not that when we are chanting the holy names, it is just only, it is just going from this material world, that vibration, going towards to the spiritual world, and it is entering to Krishna. But the problem is we don't understand this, the value of holy name. We means, I am again telling, whenever the V word is coming, it is only for me to say, not for you all. So we have to understand this. Uh, the frequency, what we are chanting of the holy name, it's a spiritual vibration. Prabhupada always emphasizes this. When you chant 1,000 times Coca-Cola, it doesn't has value. But when you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it is already been heard by Krishna, because that is the power of this radio frequency. What we see, somebody can say, oh, how Krishna is hearing. So we can understand from the example of a radio, like in radio, one frequency, if it is connected, then a person, whatever they're speaking there, it is already connected to the other person can hear when it is connected to that frequency. Similarly, when we chant the holy names of Krishna, it is already getting connected to Krishna. That frequency is matching to the that frequency of the spiritual world, because this is spiritual name and it is connected to that spiritual frequency, and it is directly manifesting towards your spiritual world. So that is the potency of the holy name. So because the sages wanted to know, desire to know, the God created this hearing power for the jiva and everybody. And then there is a deity of hearing. So you might have heard there are 33 Devi Devtas, 33 crore Devi Devta. Very controversial topic it is. We don't want to go into it. But there are 33 crores Devi demigods. We have to understand there is a hearing. So for hearing also one deity is there. For seeing one deity is there. When we blink our eyes, for the eyelid there is one deity. Moving the finger there is one deity. Every single aspect has his department. God has created deity. So that is why if you calculate 33 crore, we cannot calculate in our human calculation, but it is there. There are 33 crores deities are there. We don't understand this thing because we are minute. Even we cannot understand, suppose that the sun is gone, we will not be able to understand what is in this material world. We cannot do anything about it. So we are trying to go more deeper to understand this tattva. It is not, it will just bewilder us. We will get out of the topic. The point here is to understand God has created everything, and we have to believe in Shastra, but not blindly also. Okay, I'm telling you 33 crore Devi Devta, and then you will say, okay, tell me the names of 33 crore Devi Devta, then only I will believe Shastra. Then what will happen? We will going out of the topic and we don't believe Shastra, and we will just go because we are trying again. Because we are dependent on Krishna, and as soon as we say, okay, I want to understand this way only, then only I will surrender. Then we will never surrender because we are putting condition. When we are want to surrender, there should be no any condition. That is the simple formula of surrendering. Like a policeman, if he wants to catch some thief, the thief will say, no, 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 first you understand my condition, then only I will get caught from you. It's not possible. They have to get caught and they have to surrender. If they are not going to surrender, they will have the punishment. Similarly, if we will not get surrendered to Krishna, we have punishment. What is our punishment? Suffering of this material world. We'll be coming in the womb of mother again and again, and we will be getting disturbed. So, because this sages want to hear, he knows, God knows. If I want to bring my child back to me, I need to send somebody for them to understand this material world nature. Then only they will be able to come to me. Otherwise, they will get so much disturbed and troubled. That's why he created this manifestation, and in that also every manifestation, anything what you see, there is a presiding deity for every activity whatever we are seeing here. Even for anything, whatever working, non-working, there is a deity for that. So there are more than 33 crore also, you can say, activities are happening in this material manifestation. So of course we cannot count in, because this material cosmic manifestation 33 crore, they are saying. It is not saying only this material planet or something like that. This material cosmic manifestation, in that there is 14 planets are there with what we speak about, like swarga, swarga, narka, swarg loka, nark loka, madhyam loka. There's three divisions are there. In swarg loka there are 6 planets, we are in the 7th planet. Then again there are 7 planets down, which is hellish planet. All these, there are presiding deities are there. So if we cannot, we don't know anything beyond our earth planet. Still the scientists are trying to search this manifestation, and they are trying to know this. They are taking information which is already existing. So how we will understand 33 crore Devi Devta? So sorry for taking that little concept beyond that, but the point here is, and the object of hearing become manifested. Then because of Jivatma, that's why mother, when the child comes out, always they say mama, mama, mama. By seeing they don't understand, first they say, tell I am your mama, I am your mama. By saying only, they say. So similarly we have to understand how we have to, the hearing is very important. That's why our 9 devotional process starts with what? Shravanam. Shravanam is first important. Shravanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Padasevanam, Atmanam. Like this 9 devotional process, the first and foremost it is said hearing. Then only we will understand. So that's why first object, desire of great sages to know the ears, they made it hearing. The great sages desire to hear about the self. पहले उन्होंने first they decided to hear about themselves. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, by advance of knowledge, one should try to know the Supreme Lord, the Samam Bhuvan of everything. So, which we discussed that once we will understand self, then only we will be able to understand. So, advancement here, the point is advancement of knowledge. One should try to know about the Supreme Lord. So, first basic point is we have to understand ourselves. Then, as we advance ourselves, then we have to understand about Supreme Lord, the Samam Bhuvan of everything. Today I was reading Srila Prabhupada's daily quote. If you all have that, you can see on that also. And that also very nicely Srila Prabhupada said that empty rice husk is there, and people, in the rice, how it is, the husk is there. They beat on the husk, and the rice comes. And but sometimes they beat on the empty husk, and it is unnecessary labor for the person who is just beating on the empty husk because they are not going to get rice. So the real intelligence is to beat on the place where the rice can come out. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada was saying this quote today's quote, that the real knowledge of Vedas is to know Krishna, the Saman Bonam of everything. The Saman Bonam I am adding, but it's not mentioned in that quote. So the real point of Vedas is to know Krishna. If somebody is reading only Vedas without knowing the purpose and the Vedeshahar Ahumeva Vedyo, that the purpose we don't understand, that it's the purpose of Vedas to know God, then it is useless labor to read Vedas so much. So here it is mentioned the knowledge does not mean knowledge only in the laws of nature or physical knowledge, which are working by the direction of the Lord. So everything, whatever is happening here in the nature is done by in the direction of Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in the material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about the things taking place far away from them on other planets. That we can see now recently happened, Chandrayaan and everything. They went there, from there they are getting activities, they are trying to connect themselves. So, but God has created already this in a spiritual planet. They don't need anything like this, this temporary manifestation. They just need to desire I was hearing some Maharaj the other day. He was saying, Kardama Muni, I think my Guru Maharaj I was hearing about. He was saying Kardama Muni, he only desired to make up one planet which is flying. But when we want to make something flying, you can see how much labor they want to do. But Kardama Muni only just with his yogic power, he manifested that planet which is flying. And that flying is also not only that. In that planet itself, so much facilities. We will forget the America's leisure points and everything in front of that planet. And that is also flying. Can you imagine? Now you can see in Emirates also, that is Subal Prabhu also might be knowing he and NTR. They are trying to give all the facilities in that flight. You will get dance things or something. Maybe this might come in future also, dancing, I don't know. But about this bar, clubs, and everything they are planning to give inside that flight. If it is a long haul flight in first class or something, they will give that. So you can imagine only by his yogic power that Kanta Kardam Muni has given such a beautiful planet he can create. But here the scientists are eager to know and hear how this material nature, only they are until this, and they are doing some, you know, what we say, they are doing some scientific researches and scientific experiments to understand this material world, and to sorry, to understand the material nature and how we can achieve to know what is the real truth. So the Saman Bonam we have to understand as we advance who is Supreme Lord. So we go further here. Prabhu, sorry for disturbing. Till what time I have to speak and their question answer? Till what time I have to do? Subal Prabhu. Hare
Yeah, Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu. By 11:30 the class goes. We need quick question answers, Prabhu.
Okay, and how much time we can take for question answer?
Prabhu,
Any specific time or nothing like that?
Prabhu, completely up to you. If you feel you have more time, you can continue. Otherwise, we can take a break. Wherever, however you feel.
Yeah, we can go up to 11:30. No
Okay, fine.
problem. So the scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instrument hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. So here it is very important to understand this hearing instrument is given to us to hear about God or self. But what we are doing, we are hearing about other jivatmas and what is happening in their life. We are having pleasure to hear about other people's like, oh, this is happening, or this is happening in their life. But we are not talking, Srila Prabhupada said, we are talking about markets, what is happening in the market, what is going to happen in the future for the fights, what will happen Modi and Trump, what will happen in cricket match. All this why we are hearing. But the main thing what we have to hear, why these instruments are given here, it is mentioned here. Srila Prabhupada is so apt on this. Power of hearing and the instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibration of mundane affairs, which we discussed. The great sages were interested in hearing about the Lord through Vedic knowledge and nothing more. That is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge. So here we have to understand. Initially, it was Shruti and Smriti, which we discovered. So we'll go to Shloka verse number 23. वास्तुनो मृदु कथयन्या लघु गुर्व उष्ण सिततम जिघर्कशता स्वनिर्भीना तस्यां रोम महिरुहाः तत्राचन्तार्बहिर्वत्सवतास् त्वचा लब्ध गुणो व्रतः. Translation I'll read, then purport somebody can read. Translation Srila Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. When there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, cold, lightness, and heaviness, the background of sensation, the skin pores, the hairs on the body, and their controlling deities, the trees were generated. Within and outside the skin is covering of air through which sense perception become prominent. Anybody can read purport?
Yeah, purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, are subjects of sense perception, and thus physical knowledge is the subject matter of the touch sensation. One can measure the temperature of matter by touching with the hand, and one can measure the weight of an object by lifting it with the hand, and thus estimates its heaviness or lightness. The skin pores and the hairs on the body are all interdependent. With the touch sensation, the air blowing within and outside the skin is also an object of sense perception. This sense perception is also a source of knowledge, and therefore it is suggested here that physical or psychological knowledge is subordinate to the knowledge of the self. As above mentioned, knowledge of self can expand to knowledge of phenomena, but physical knowledge cannot lead to knowledge of the self. There is, however, an intimate relation between the hairs on the body and the vegetation on the body of the earth. The vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and medicine. As stated in the third canto, Tvakvam Asya Vinimbratam Vinirbhinam Vivissur Dusyanam Osaidya. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very beautiful. This is also now here we can see when there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, cold, lightness, and heaviness. The background of sensation, the skin pores, the hairs on the body, and their controlling deities, the trees were generated. Within and outside the skin is covering of air through which sense perception becomes prominent. So, as we discussed, there are many demigods. The 33 crores demigods are there. So you can see so many things are there: warmth, matter, hardness, softness. So every activity has one deities. So here that's why in the purport it is mentioned and their controlling deities. So that is the word deities has come up. So we can understand 33 crores is not wrong, which is stated by Shastra. So here now the sense of perception is coming, which is very important. We have to understand. We like to sense a touch. Everybody now, there are people who are blind. They understand everything by touching. Whatever they want to understand, they they touch and they do. So you can imagine what a God's creation is. Such a beautiful. Even the blind man, by touching, they can sense perceptions. They can understand this material world, but not fully, of course. Even somebody has full senses also, still they are not able to understand, like scientists. So how we can understand this manifestation? So the foolish persons, try to understand this manifestation. Like here they are saying the scientists, they are trying to know this knowledge. It can go up to the knowledge of phenomena. It can go. There is no end to understand this material cosmic manifestation. But the point to understand this material manifestation will be useless until unless we will not understand oneself. That is very important point we have to understand. And because see, I was hearing some, I think Sikshastakam Prabhu was saying, very beautiful point was some Maharaj was saying, I am not able to recollect who was saying, but there was some point he met to one student, and that student wanted to understand some subject matter. I think he was trying to understand something, that subject matter. He was in the scientific field, and he was in the science, and he was trying to understand some subject matter. It was about something related to material creation only. I am not really coming to know what object he was trying to understand. Maybe some emotions he wanted to understand, or something like that he wanted to understand. So whole life he did that scientific research to understand that emotion, one emotion or one object he wanted to understand, but he never tried to understand his self. So the point I am trying to say is, even there are scientists, they want to understand only one object or many different objects. That is useless labor, because until and unless one doesn't understand himself, he has lost everything. There is a quote in Bible as well, that if somebody understood full material world also and doesn't know about spirit soul, his life is waste. Similarly, if we understand ourselves, and if we don't understand this material world also, it is enough. That is the statement here also we have to understand. Srila Prabhupada is quoting very simple way. We have to understand ourselves. And this class also we started, Athoto Brahma Jigyasa. The basic understanding is to understand ourselves. You will understand full material creation. You will have knowledge beyond this material creation also. But what is the point? What is the point of understanding this material cosmic manifestation is to understand self and our relationship to the God. Until unless this, that is why the three main concept is Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojan. This is our purpose of life. We have to understand what is our Sambandha with this material nature, what is our Sambandha with Krishna. And when we understand this, we go to Abhidaya, we connect ourselves to Krishna, and then Prayojan. We will attain the real purpose of our life, the human life. That is the love of God. So here it is understand that how different deities were created, how the skin was created, outside and inside, how the hair in the body is so important. Every aspect is very important in our body. It is not, we cannot say, oh, this hair is wrongly made by God. No, it has some purpose. If you go in scientific understanding, the doctors or the scientists might tell you the purpose of hair in our body. I am not that much into scientific field, so I don't know about it. But to understand a basic understanding, the every part in our body is very important. Everything, whatever is created by God, is very important. There is maybe the volume of hair will be high or less depending on our karmas, but these are the important factors which is required our body to function. So that is why Srila Prabhupada is also in the giving an example. There is, however, an intimate relation between the hairs on the body and the vegetation on the body. Vegetation on the body of the earth. The vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and the medicine, as stated in the third canto. So the hair on the earth is also one deity. You can know how this our formula is coming, and in that earth also there are many, Prabhupada is giving vegetation which are like hair for the earth. Similarly, this is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also that sun and moon are my eyes, this mountains are my bones, and this vegetations are my hair. So you can understand this cosmic manifestation is also Krishna's manifestation. It is the body of Krishna Purusha. So we'll go to 24th. Any question on this point till now? Anybody has any question?
Prabhu, what is the relation of trees? That is the source of vegetation
Trees, where it is? Can you tell me
in
which one?
the
In the translation you're telling?
both in the translation also controlling deities, the trees.
No, it is mentioned the hairs on the body and their controlling deities. The
Huh.
trees in the bracket is not what I understand is trees were generated. This what does means is deities, I believe, because this deities is considered as trees. It's not exactly trees basically. There are different trees we say now. There are so many trees are there, branches are there. That doesn't mean that exact physical
Okay.
trees we are talking about.
Okay.
Am I right, Subal Prabhu? Can you add in this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, actually,
Anybody?
he's gone for a call. He will just come.
No problem. Anybody wants to add on this? Otherwise, we will just check with senior devotee also at this point. We will clarify because this is my understanding, but we will discuss on this, Prabhuji. From my
Because
understanding, I gave you an answer.
in the last they are saying something about vegetation. So maybe trees are the main source of vegetations. Some relation with that. Maybe
No,
I
this is
mean
just an example to understand the vegetables here is the example for us how it is giving the nourishment to the skin both as food and the medicine as stated in the third canto. So here it is saying intimated link means trees is important in our life because they are giving us an oxygen. This is the point you have to understand. If we don't get oxygen, our body pores will not get that oxygen, and from that we will not be able to, our body can function. So the trees are important in all the aspect. This also could be one of the reason Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in translation the trees in the bracket. This also could be a reason.
okay.
Okay, so we'll go to 24th. Hastau ruruhatustasya nana karma chikrasya tayostu balvanindra adanam ubhaya sharayam. Bhavat, translation Srila Prabhupada, by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength, and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, as also the acts dependent on both the hands and the demigods. Anybody can read this purport?
I can go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. In every item, we can note with profit that the sense organs of the living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses. Hirishika.
Rishikesha.
Thus, Rishikesha. Okay. Thus, The senses or thus the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by a certain type of demigod. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are the servants of the Supreme Lord. That is the arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there is no independence either of the material nature or of the living entity. The illusioned living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as a living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord. And there is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, Maya. However much one may declare himself a liberated soul. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
What a beautiful purport. So here it is said, thereafter, when the Supreme Person designed to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength and Indra, the demigods in the heaven became manifested, as also the acts independent on both the hands and the demigod. So this material manifestation, we understood how Jiva came to the existence, and then how the body came and the hearing and all the other objects are coming to manifestation. Now they are talking about the planetary system. Now the planetary system started coming. Here we can see Indra has come, the Lord known as. So first, everything we understood, we are dependent on Krishna. Without Sun, we cannot do anything. So are never independent at any stage. Since the beginning, we are dependent. So if somebody is saying, I am the controller like Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, they are foolish. They want to become a controller, whereas they don't know we are already dependent on Lord. So we have to understand this. That is why it is mentioned Rishikesha, the senses. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses. The Rishikesha means that Lord of the senses, Rishikesha. So Rishikesha, Rishikena. Rishikena, Rishikesha, there is one shloka like this. I don't remember the shloka. But the main point is that whatever senses we have, the controller of our senses is Krishna. That's why he's named as Rishikesha. Rishikena, Rishikesha is one shloka in Bhagavad Gita. So in that it is mentioned how this Rishikesh, our body is so senses are kept completely under the influence of Krishna. But somehow when we forget Krishna, we are in Maya. We are in the Maya means illusion, that how Ravan was thinking, I am God, Hiranyakashipu was thinking, I am God, because they are under the influence of external energy. External energy is Maya. Maya means which is not, illusion. That is named as Maya, which we might be knowing, everybody many times, many devotees has been told also. So that is the point we have to understand. This is very important. As a Jivatma, the moment we try to become a controller, we will become so much in anxiety. We will become in depression situation. We will become in such a angry mood. We will become in such a devastation manner. You can remember in your lifestyle, you can share also. There's a question to you all. In your childhood, you were dependent on whom? Your parents, right? And now, as you have grown up, you are trying to be a you are giving a shelter to your family, your country, or somewhere you're trying to share your contribution. How is your life now and when you were a child? This is a question. Can you share your experience? Which life is much better?
Certainly, the
Childhood.
life in the childhood was much better. We were under the protection of the parents.
And the moment now we are there, we are in so much anxiety. We all,
Yeah.
right? So much in anxiety, what about my parents, my family, my future, my job, my, mental. And the same thing, you can connect in this relation, the moment Hiranyakashipu was having everything, if he moves his eyebrows, demigods used to be, in scare. They were so much scared. They will not be doing anything. Such a powerful personality, but he was in anxiety. Why? Because he want to become a controller. So the Bhagavatam is so beautiful, which explain us how we can be not, we can become fearless, we can become, anxiety less, we can become depression less. Only we have to surrender to Krishna. We have to give ourselves to Krishna. And as soon as you give in the hands of Krishna as a puppet, see your life will become so blissful. Srila Prabhupada, when he was going to America, he made one poem in that he said, I'm your puppet, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Same way we have to surrender ourselves, whatever situation in our life. Krishna, if you want to give me opulence, I'm your puppet. If you want to take away my all opulence, I'm your puppet. Just be surrendered to Krishna. See Sudama Vipra. Everything was taken away from him. He was still surrendered in bhakti. He never left it. And see later on what he got. See Arjuna. He completely surrendered in Bhagavad Gita. He was in such a difficult situation. You can imagine to kill their grandfathers and relatives. It's such a big challenge. But when he surrendered, and you can see how the life became blissful for him. Same way, when we understand our sambandha with Krishna, then we try to abhidaya. Abhidaya means that is surrendering process. Like a marriage, when we happen in a marriage, we understand the relationship between men and women, and then we try to surrender. Even in the marriage process, husband wife, surrender process is not easy. It takes time, it takes so much time to get surrendered to each other. Nowadays, if there is no surrender, there is immediately you can see so much divorces happening. Why? Because there's a controlling sensation is there everywhere. Wife wants to control husband, husband wants to control wife, mother-in-law wants to control wife, wife wants to control mother-in-law, and all this is happening. You can see. So the moment the controllership is coming in our life or mind, we can be in a trouble. So we have to understand, we have to always depend on Krishna. You can see in the case of Lord Indra, he also tried to become a controller, and that Leela, how he was devastated when Vrindavan, that full Govardhan Leela was happened. You everybody know. So because of time constraint, we have to understand that as long as living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of external action of the Lord, and there is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion. Then the living entity cannot go beyond that. So we have Prabhu was saying that we can read until 26. So I don't think so we can continue till 26, but let's try. Gatim Jiges. Now what we will do, we'll read 25 and 26 together only. Then we'll discuss on this two for 10 minutes. Gatim Jigis Sata Padau Ruruhate Abhikmikam Padhyam Jagna Swayam Havyam Karambhi Kriyate Nirbhi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifested, and from the legs a controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By his personal supervision of this act, all varieties of human beings are busily engaged in dutiful occupational sacrifice. Anybody can read purport? It's a big purport.
Hare Krishna,
Every,
Prabhuji. I can. Okay, Prabhuji,
Yes,
continue.
every human being is engaged in his particular occupational duty, and such activities are visible as men go hither and thither. This is very prominently visible in big cities of the world. People are going all over the cities with great concern from one place to another. This movement is not limited only to the cities, but is also visible outside the cities from one place to another, or from one city to another, or by different means of vehicles. Men are moving by cars and rails on the roads, or the on the roads, by subways within the earth, and by planes in the sky, or for the purpose of business success. But in all these moments, the real purpose is to earn wealth for comfortable life. For this comfortable life, the scientist is engaged, the artist is engaged, the engineer is engaged, the technician is engaged, all in different branches of human activity. But they do not know how to make the activities purposeful to fulfill the mission of human life, because They do not know the secret. All their activities are targeted towards the goal of sense gratification without control, and therefore by all the business they are unknowingly entering into the deep region of darkness. Because they have been captivated by the external energy of the Supreme Lord, they have completely forgotten the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and thus they have taken it for granted that this life is presently manifested under the conditions of material nature, is all in all, and for enjoying the highest amount of sense gratification. But such a wrong conception of life cannot give anyone the desired peace of mind, and thus, in spite of all advancement in knowledge, by use of the sources of nature, no one is happy in the material civilization. The secret is that at every step they should try to execute sacrifices toward the path of the word peace. The Bhagavad Gita 18.45 and 46 are also advises the same secret in the following verses. Swe swe karme abhiretha. Prabhu, yeah.
I will read it. Swe swe karmani avirtha samsiddham labate nara swakarma nirataha siddhim yatha vandati tachrunu yatha pravartir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhya archaya siddhim vindati manavaha.
The Lord said to Arjun, just hear from me how one can attain the highest perfection in life simply by discharging his specified occupational duty. Men can attain the highest perfection of life by worshipping the Supreme Lord and by performing sacrifice for the sake of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is all pervading and by whose control every living being acquires his desired facilities according to his personal propensity. There is no harm in having different propensities in life because every human being is proportionately independent to chalk out the plan of his life by different occupations. But one should make it a point in his life to know perfectly well that he is not independent absolutely. One is certainly under the control of the Supreme Lord and under different agencies. Knowing this, one should make it a point that by his work and the result of his labor, he serves the Supreme Lord as prescribed by the authorities, expert in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. For performing such occupational duties of life, the leg is the most important instrument of the body because without the help of the legs, one cannot move from one place to another. And therefore, the Lord has special control over the legs of all human beings, which are meant for performing yagnas. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Very nice. So we'll take shloka number 26 also, then we'll discuss on both together. निराभिद्यता शिष्णो वै प्रजानन्दमर्तराहिना उपास्तासित् कामानां प्रियं तद् उभाशरयम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thereupon, for sexual pleasure, begetting offspring, and tasting heavenly nectar, the Lord developed the genitals. And thus, there is genital organ and its controlling deity, the Prajapati. The object of sexual pleasure and the controlling deity are under the control of the genital of the lords. Translation. And Srila Prabhupada, purport, can anyone read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Papa Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The heavenly pleasure for the conditioned soul is sexual pleasure, and this pleasure is tasted by the genitals. The woman is the object of sexual pleasure, and both the sense perception of sexual pleasure and the women are controlled by the Prajapati, who is under the control of the Lord's genitals. The initiates must know from this verse that the Lord is not impersonal, for he has his genitals, on which all the pleasurable objects of sex depend. No one would have taken the trouble to maintain children if there were no taste of heavenly nectar by means of sexual intercourse. This material world is created to give the conditioned soul a chance for rejuvenation, for going back home, back to Godhead, and therefore generation of the living being is necessary for upkeep of the purpose of creation. Sexual pleasure is an impetus for such action, and as such, one can even serve the Lord in the act of such sexual pleasure. The service is counted when the children born of such sexual pleasure are properly trained in God consciousness. The whole idea of material creation is to revive the dormant God consciousness of the living entity. In form of life other than the human form, sexual pleasure is prominent without any motive or service for the mission of the Lord. But in the human form of life, the conditioned soul can render service to the Lord by creating progeny suitable for attainment of salvation. One can beget hundreds of children and enjoy celestial pleasure of sexual intercourse, provided he is able to train the children in God consciousness. Otherwise, begetting children is on the level of the swine. Rather, the swine is more expert than human being because the swine can beget a dozen of piglets at a time, whereas the human being can give birth to only one at a time. So one should always remember that the genitals, sexual pleasure, the women and the offspring are all related to the service of the Lord. And one who forgets this relationship in the service of the Supreme Lord becomes subjected to the threefold miseries of material existence by the laws of nature. Perception of sexual pleasure is there even in the body of the dog, but there is no sense of God consciousness. The human form of life is distinct from that of the dog by a perception of God consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhupada. So very nice. First, we'll take 25th. Thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifest, and from the legs, the controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By his personal supervision of this act, all varieties of human beings are busily engaged in dutiful occupational sacrifice. So you can imagine why we have got legs. Ambrish Maharaj, our great example, he used his legs for what? Anybody knows?
Pilgrimage Prabhu.
Yeah, pilgrimage, going to dhams and in the service of Lord. But now, if we are using this legs for the going in that area, enjoying the nature and all this, but no, not knowing the purpose of this legs, so we are doing useless labor. So here it is said that whatever we have got, we can use in the service of God. Either it should be leg, eyes, and our genitals, or whatever we have, everything we can engage in the service of God, whereas the animals cannot engage this body part senses in the service of Lord. So we are a human which are better than animals in the sense of intelligence, not any other sense we are better, only the sense of intelligence to understand our sambandha, abhida and prayojana. So in that case, we have to understand our real purpose of life is to be God conscious, not material conscious. But if in my case, I just see I'm always 24 hours is material consciousness. Every time I'm thinking apart from the Lord. So I have to develop a taste to understand Krishna, to God, to know myself. And that is the real purpose of our life. And when we understand this type of connection with God, that is our real success of human birth. So it is Srila Prabhupada saying that people are earning wealth and comfortable life. Scientists are doing so many things. Technician is engaged. Different people are engaged in different activities. But the main activity they are not going through. That is why everybody is in darkness. And what is that darkness? Is moroseness, sorrow, sadness, difficulties in life and all this. When you see the real devotee, he will be so happy, blissful. We have attained the real peace. So when we are in a devotional practice, we attain four things. That is very important to understand. Then only we will be very full, wholeheartedly will be engaged in service of Lord. You want to know that four things? Everybody? Would you like to know that four
Yes,
things?
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes.
yes.
Yeah, so first thing is Param Suraksha, supreme protection. When you start doing devotional protection, devotional service, Krishna says, I will give you supreme protection. Now I can give you one small example. Suppose you are sitting on one chair in wherever you are listening, and it has four legs. In that, one leg is, it's not, I will tell you, Prabhuji, this leg is of this chair is not very great. It can, this chair is not that great. It can break anytime. And we will be so in difficult condition that we will not understand what is the problem of our problem. This one, that in a difficult situation, I will just take one important call as the one. Sir, I will call you in 15 minutes. I am in one meeting. I will just call you back, sir. So we have to understand one simple formula, that that leg of it is not properly, it is shaky chair or something. We will not have peace. But when we understand our real position, that we are the part and parcel of God, and we try to follow in the footstep of devotees, then we will understand the that God is protecting us. Krishna says, "Ki go Arjuna and declare that my devotee will never perish." That means he's giving us real protection. So sometimes we see devotees are going through material discomforts and everything. So this material discomforts and whatever the ailments they are facing, this is the way where the other people can understand when we are in the service of Krishna, that is their last life of this suffering. And whatever suffering he is supposed to take in many different lifetimes, he is getting in that one lifetime, and he's getting relief from all his discomforts which are supposed to come in the next life. So see, that is the beauty of bhakti. So once we are connected to bhakti, then we will be getting, the first thing is supreme protection. And suppose now the chair is intact, everything is okay, then you will be peaceful. Oh, now I'm, otherwise your peace is disturbed. Oh, chair can go anywhere, anything. So when we are protected, that is why we are going here and there to get comfortable life and protection. So first is supreme protection. Then when you have supreme protection, then you have supreme peace. And then you are peaceful. Okay, now the chair is okay. I am okay and I can see everything. Everything is easy. Then that peaceful is not also the end of the story. Then that goes beyond. When you are peaceful, you are happy. When you are not peaceful, you are depressed. So when we are peaceful, then third point comes up to supreme happiness. We get the real happiness. When we are in the surrender of process of Krishna, we will try to learn these things, and then we will feel supreme protection. We will see how Krishna's hand in our difficult situation. Everywhere he will be supporting us. Then we will feel little peaceful. And then our surrender, Krishna reciprocate through the degree of our surrender. The degree which we surrender, same degree he will reciprocate. And the if we have desire to surrender 100%, he will reciprocate with us 100%. So now it depends on us how much we want Krishna in our life or material world in our life. And based on that, Krishna will reciprocate to us. So first point is supreme protection. When we have supreme protection, then we will have supreme peace. And then we have supreme peace like a chair, then we will be supreme happy. Okay, now I don't have any problem. And when all these three things comes through, fourth point, which is where this all exist, all this supreme protection, supreme peace and supreme happiness exist in supreme world, that is spiritual world, where is Golok Vrindavan. So we will achieve that. So when we do bhakti, these four things can help us to understand. These four things we will automatically get it. We don't have to opt for some protection. Don't have to do any different meditation to get some peace or anything. Just engage in devotional service and we will get this thing. But people don't know, they are running here and there for this bodily satisfaction, bodily protection, bodily peace, and bodily happiness, which is going to go finish everything. Sikandar, the great Alexander, the example everybody has heard. When he was dying, he said that to his people, three things you should do for me. First, you might be knowing, I don't want to ask you the question, but I'm, because the time is limiting, so I will just try to finish in 4 minutes. So he said that three things you should do. First thing, take people, tell when coffin is coming there, whatever material opulence I have earned, throw on my path towards to the graveyard. And second, my hand you keep outside my coffin. And the third point, he said, all the doctors who are the best doctors, ask them to walk in front of me. So somebody asked, why you want to do like this? He said, when we came to this material world, people should know that I will take nothing. Whatever I have earned, everything will be on the street, like lying this someday or other. Second, he said, keep my hands that I came empty-handed, I will go empty-handed. Third point, he said, all doctors, even the scientists, nobody can help us at the time of death. Death is prominent. Nobody has ever found any medicine. They are trying many different ways to increase the lifespan of the body. But to increase the lifespan of body doesn't matter. The main important is to understand the soul. So the bhakti is our relation to know ourselves to God, and that is the main real success of human birth. So here it is in the last point, Srila Prabhupada said, whatever activity we are doing in the material world, doing the activity, whatever the results, we have to give in the service of Lord. That is the real bhakti. So people are knowing this, one should make it a point that by his work and the result of his labor, he serves the Supreme Lord as prescribed by the authorities, expect transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. For such performance occupational duties of life, the leg is the most important, because without the help of leg, one cannot move from one place to another, and therefore the Lord has special control over the legs, all human beings which are meant for performing yagna. So the real yagna is to serve Lord. And how we can serve Lord from the legs? You have to go to satsang. Every Friday we have Sindhi Hall. Every Sunday we have in Regent School. And with legs we have to use in the service of Lord, driving to devotees, serving Lord devotees, and many things we can do with our this senses. This is very important. And the next last point, we are just this. I am not completing full. So next devotee who is going to speak, Prabhu, you can ask them to speak on this matter also more detail. I will just speak in brief about this, whatever is there. Therefore, for sexual pleasure, begetting offspring, and tasting heavenly nectar, the Lord has developed the genital, and thus there is genital organ and its controlling deity, the Prajapati. See, for the genital controlling deity is Prajapati. The object of sexual pleasure and the controlling deity are under the control of the genital of the Lord. So that are also dependent on the control of the Lord. Like Kamdev is dependent on Vishnu. He is the controlling deity. If you can controlling not, but it is one of the attractive force for the sexual pleasure. So we can understand this sexual pleasure is the topmost in this material world. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada saying the object is woman. That doesn't mean woman is the object. Even woman, for woman, the man is the object. So it is not that vice and versa Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. The point here is to understand that even we can use, there are many vairagis, they just go, oh, we have to leave sexual pleasure, and some they fall down in later stage. Like who are the example for that? Anybody knows? The great tapasvis who went for, and they, for the sexual pleasure, they
Sobri
fall.
Muni.
Yes, Sabarmuni, and one more is there. With the anklet bell, he got disturbed.
Vishwamitra?
Yes, right, Vishwamitra Muni. So they artificially tried to go and just leave this sexual pleasure, but that will not really helps. It helps. Some are exception case, but the real easiest way for the Kali Yuga is Srila Prahlad Maharaj also says, you don't take responsibility. You can't. If somebody is dependent on you, you have to take care of them properly. Like your children, your parents, whoever there, you have to make them God conscious. If cannot do, then don't go for the sexual pleasure or all these things, because that things are actually meant to, when see we are trying to become a controller. Srila Prabhupada given the purport very very simple way, that we are taking hard labor, we are taking care of family only because of sexual pleasure. When we do sexual pleasure, and then this we have so much headache we have to do, that so much brahmanda we create for ourselves only for the such a small pleasure. So simply we have to understand, if really we want to use this bodily needs, we can do marriage, and in a proper way we can create many children. Srila Prabhupada says hundreds of children, if we have a capacity to make them Krishna consciousness. Not that like there are many different faiths, they are creating children to do disturbance in the material world. I don't want to name that faiths. You might be knowing all that. Many people, many children in that faiths are just creating disturbance in their faith. They teaches us that they have to create. You will get so much liberation if you do that. You will do that, and you will get so many things with that. The point is here to understand the children are very fragile. They have to given the right knowledge. If not given, their life will be more Varna Sankara. Arjuna was having one of this problem in his life, that when he was fighting, this was one of his question. If I'll fight, if there is no father for them, they will become, polluted. Wives will get polluted, and the children will also get polluted. They will not get the direction of life. So it's very important. This for small pleasure, if we have done it, we have to take a responsibility that we should make our children Krishna consciousness and whoever dependent to our life. So that is what we have to understand, that this is the purpose of our human life. Sambandha. We have to understand our sambandha. Who am I? What is my purpose of life? Abhidaya. Then we have to engage in a devotional service. And when we engage in the devotional service, we will get four things, which comes as a prema. Love has all these four things. When you love somebody, you will give them these four things. You will try to give that person that protection, that peace, that happiness, and you will create a place where that person can be staying. So same way Krishna is giving that four thing, and that love is given us in this material world also, but because of our conditioning we are unable to say. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All Vaishnavas assembled on your lotus feet. I am paying my obeisances. If any mistake I have done, please forgive me. Anybody have any question, doubt, or any comment, please correct me. I am here to serve you. Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhu, no, the
Thank you so
class was really fantastic. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Any
Jai.
question, anything somebody would like to share?
Prabhuji, one simple doubt. We
Yes,
keep
sir.
talking of planets. Some places we refer to the lokas as planets. Sometimes we refer to the real planets as planets. So
Yes.
how do we look at this in different fashion?
Loka means planets means
Like say
Loka.
now you refer to Patal Lok, all those are also 7 planets, right?
Yeah.
Or do we actually refer to the real planets of Mercury, Earth, those kind of planets as planets, or they're
You are
different?
telling me, you're trying to tell me that you are asking me that this planets really exist or it is existing. Are we going to that planets, or you are want to understand is this planets are different than the spiritual world? What is your question
Uh,
exactly?
uh, no, we are referring to 2 types of planets, right? The Jupiter, Earth, Saturn, all those also we refer to as planets, and
Yeah.
the other lokas which you told, the Patal Lok, Bhulok, all those also are planets.
Yeah.
So are they different or they referring to the same thing?
No, no. These planets are existing, like moon and everything is existing in each planet. You understand?
Okay, okay,
So there are
okay,
different planets. This planet's orbit is there. Each universe is there. Different universes. There are many universes, and then many universes you have different planets of these. So this is one
okay,
universe. And there are
okay,
two worlds. One is spiritual world and one is material world. So the material world, in material world, there are many universes. In many universes, there are many, these are the planets. Spiritual, like the
okay,
sun, moon, and
okay,
all these are the planets. And there are, you know, there are loka. Loka is like, it is also, you can say, kind of planet, but it is like sun planet is there. Sun is the place where sun god is residing. You
deciding.
understand? They have their individual planets,
Yeah,
but that is also in the universe. Similarly, the Asuras have their planets. There is different name for that. Brahma has his planet, so it is named as Brahma Loka. Then Rishis have their
okay,
planet. They don't. So these 14 planets are just only to our understanding. We have this 14, but there are many planets in this universe, and this universe is a
okay,
temporary manifestation of this material world. And the spiritual world is ever existing, it is never manifested or unmanifested. But when Lord created this spiritual, this material cosmic manifestation, he created different universes. In different universes there are many sun moons. That's why it says a million moons and everything, this composition comes, because this all are existing in this material world.
okay. Thank you, thank you.
Just to add
Anybody
a
wants
point
to?
there,
Yeah.
meaning, there is a difference between planet and a planetary system. So when the word comes, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, so basically Bhur is the earthly planetary system. Okay. So one planetary system contains many planets. So when Bhagavatam talks about it, it talks about at a planetary system level, which one system can contain many planets. So that way, Swargaloka is not one planet, but it's a planetary system. Maharloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, they are also planetary systems, not individual planets.
So
Yes,
more
very
like
nice.
a universe.
Yeah, inside the
Planetary system
universe,
is one universe.
I think universe is a far bigger concept. Planetary system
Okay.
would be a part of the universe.
Okay.
inside universe, they are inside the universe.
Okay.
The planetary
Okay.
systems are in that there are different planets, but we name only few planets, 14 planets. But there are unlimited planets inside the universe. You understand? So sometimes they
Yeah.
say Pluto is there, now Pluto is not there. You know? So there is
Okay.
this is one planet they will create, or this is the one planet is there. Sometimes they will say there is no planet. So there are many different planetary systems. They are just finding it out, and sometimes they say that doesn't exist. But there are still
So
there are many which we don't know. But as per Shastra, 14 are prominent.
that means we come under the Bhuloka planetary system.
Yeah,
Section.
we are in Bhuloka. So as we progress, we can go to Moon Loka also.
Okay. Okay.
So there is way to reach to Moon Loka, which is mentioned in Shastra. If you do some type of sacrifice, then you can reach to the moon planet. There is sun planet. There are
One. Yeah. And one more point you had referred to in today's class was understanding ourselves or learning about ourselves. Does it mean to do with the soul and what is the purpose of the soul? Is that what you meant there, or what was meant there?
yeah, soul. We are spirit soul. We have to understand that we are part of Krishna. That is spiritual. To understand self is that I am soul, not this body. And the moment we
Okay.
understand I am this body, I am in Maya's clutches of Maya. And the moment we realize I am not this body, we are in the hands of Krishna's energy, the internal energy, Aladini Shakti, Yoga Maya.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Anything anybody wants to add also, they can do 5 minutes more. I think we have 2 or 3 minutes more.
Prabhuji, when it comes to Swargaloka, I think the moon and sun planet falls under Swargaloka, right?
No, Prabhuji, they are different planets. Swargloka is for Indra. Indra stays in that. So whenever you see Indra is in trouble, sun planet comes to him, moon planet come to him, and they all together go to Brahma.
Okay.
So as Subal Prabhu said, there are different planetary systems, but namely we name only prominent 14. So the Swarg Lokas are almost the topmost, like Brahma Lok, that Rishis, these are considered as a Swarg Loka, where the lifespan is more, the enjoyment is more. That is named in Swarg Loka concept. It's like in bigger understanding, Swarg Lokas are enjoyable planets, and Nark Lokas are difficulty, conditioning, problematic planets, which are down 7. And in that different lokas, in Swarga Loka, you can call them as a Swarga Loka, like moon can be named as Swarga Loka because there is lifespan is more, enjoyment is more. Subal Prabhu, you want to add anything?
No, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your wonderful lecture. Highly appreciate it. Despite your working day, you have been able to spend time for us. It was
All goes to
sure everybody must have loved it and enjoyed it, Prabhu. So
thank
humble.
you.
We had only 1 or 2 disturbances. So if you are able to tolerate these 1 or 2 disturbances, please come regularly, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'll try to serve.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Take a leave.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Well, let's chant Vaishnav prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So from 26, you can ask the other speaker to speak in more detail, but I just completely did it. I tried to. And one trees concept Sushil Prabhu is having in one of the shlokas, just if you can clarify him properly. I tried to say as per my little knowledge, but you can share with him.
Definitely, Prabhu. Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Very
Thank
much.
you. With your permission, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhu.